Good evening, everybody. Welcome to It's All Black and White TV. And this is the match review from yesterday's game, in which Liverpool won 4-2. And I'm joined by Roly. How are you, Roly?
I'm okay. I'm just feeling a bit. The game yesterday left a bitter taste in my mouth. I'll go into more detail why when we get talking about the game.
Yeah. And if anybody's interested in the darts, Luke Littler, the 16-year-old, is currently 2 sets to 1 up on Rob Cross, and one leg all in the 4th set at the moment. So that is what's happening on the darts, and I have got it on. So if anybody's interested, I'll keep you up to date with the score. It's the first one. There's 6 sets, gets through the final. Okay. If you do like what you see, then please do smash the like. It does help the channel up the search, so please do smash that like. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, and it means new viewers find the channel easily. Also, if you are brand new to this channel, come and smash the subscribe. It is free to do so, and only 9 subscribers away now from 1,100. Also, by hitting that bell notification, that tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record, or any upcoming shows as well. So if you want to become a member, it's 99p. Click the join button to do that. And if you want to make a donation, you can do that in the chat by clicking on the $sign as well. Okay. Right, let's get into some comments first of all, and then we'll start talking about the game. Good evening in all in chat, says BT. Good evening to you, mate. Hope you're well. Holly says that penalty with Dubravka was not a penalty in a million years. Yep, we'll talk about that, Holly. And we'll talk about Eddie Howe disagreeing as well. BT says, would Newcastle have to follow Villa's example to fund the squad, rebuild, sell and buy one of our top assets to fund purchases going forward? Now, that's an interesting question because, look, that I have seen a lot of this going around. And there's a lot going around saying that, depending when we finish in the summer, we could be, we could end up losing Bruno, Botman and Isak in the summer. It might come down to the fact that we have to sell someone like Bruno, who's going to bring in a lot of money to help the FFP situation. But again, we don't want to go down that road. The FFP is just nothing but a pain. But the amount of stuff that we've got coming through the doors of the club might not even have to summons down to that. It might be the fact is if we just bring a few loans in this window, save a bit of money, come this summer, and then, look, there's going to be quite a few members of the squad are going to be out of contract. And as far as we know with PIF, there's rumours that they weren't happy that Eddie Howe said, maybe keep Lascelles on. They want rid of Lascelles as well because they want to get these players out the door because at the end of the day, these players have done well, but you want to move on to the next level. And you can see why they're probably just saying, let's run these contracts down and get them off the wage bill. And it frees up for FFP as well. So
I'd just like to make a comment on that thing with the message that BT put up, like follow the Aston Villa example. You've got to remember that Aston Villa sold Jack Grealish nearly 4 seasons ago? And it's only this last season and a half that they've become a good team. So it's not really... They sold Grealish because he wanted to go. And it took them... when did the City buy Grealish? It's about 3 seasons ago, isn't it?
A couple of years ago, I think.
Yeah, so it's not like they sold him and then built the squad from the proceeds straight away. They spent loads of money under Steven Gerrard and were crap. It's only since Emery's come in, back end of last season in this transfer window. So I don't see how that's a great example because they sold if they'd sold Grealish last summer and invested it like and they've obviously had the big improvement, I could say, yeah, I can see that. But this is a couple of seasons ago. It's nearly 3 seasons ago they sold Grealish, so it's not really a good comparison, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair enough, Roly, but we'll see what happens. And looking at that's now just gone 3. Sorry, Luke's just gone 3 sets to 1 up now on Rob Cross now.
I can see what he's saying about we might need to buy to sell to buy, but saying Villa as an example, I think that's a little bit off mark because they sold Grealish some time ago, and it's only this season they've got since Emery came in that they've been any good. So was it Dean Smith? Was Dean Smith in charge when they sold Grealish?
Yes, I believe he was.
So that's sort of like they've gone through. There's two managers, so it's not really a good example. But I can see the point he's trying to make. I just think he's picked the wrong example.
That's fair enough, Roly. That's fair enough. I'll tell you exactly when Grealish signed for Manchester City. I think it was 2 years ago. He is 28 now, Grealish, by the way. He signed for City in 2021, so yeah. 3 years this August. That's when he joined City. Yeah. So there you go.
2.5 years ago, yeah. So I think my point holds water.
We're always a danger when crossing the halfway line and cannot defend these attacking players with the pace to burn. Yeah, absolutely. We'll get into that as well, mate. Evening, Tony. No, already. Good evening, B. I hope you're well. Good evening, everyone. Says Mad Mac. Good evening to you. Splat. Evening, Tony and Roly. Good evening, Splat. Hope you're well, mate, and Happy New Year. Lee says, evening, Tony, Roly. Happy New Year, and everyone. Yeah, absolutely, Lee. Thanks, mate. Depressing. Can't wait for this yet to be over, says Bia. Another ref that's ripped us off. Yeah, absolutely. Another referee that's lost control of a game. Let's be honest. Holly says, I hope we don't sell Bruno. He's one of my favourite players. Let's hope that's not the case. Bia says, we have many ways of improving the commercial revenues and amortization of fees. We will get around the FFP, absolutely. BT says, our expenditure is currently 92% of income, so we need more investment. I'm sure we'll get it. Alan says, evening, guys. I think at the moment it's a dip in form, but the owner's been here 2 years now. Need a few players gone in the summer. Few positions, as we all know, needs upgrading. Absolutely, Alan. Too many championship players in this squad, and there's still too many on the wage bill that needs to be gone. And I think that's why when we know what Eddie Howe's saying, he'd rather keep the sales on it, tie him down because he's a good look. There's no room for sentiment now. Players like Lascelles, look, yes, he's done well. He come in and done well as a stopgap, but is he the type of player we want to keep here for the next 2 or 3 years? Is he going to be the type of player that helps us to the next level? Absolutely not. So players like Lascelles have done good for this club, but where we want to be as a club, they're not at that level for us, unfortunately. And, and they will be moved on eventually. They will be. So it could happen in the summer. Lascelles goes on a free somewhere. Who knows? But we'll wait and see on that one. Right, getting into the game yesterday. So, look, obviously pre-match I said, my head says 3-1 we'll lose. But I said my heart says a 1-1 draw. And I said, I'll go on a 1-1 draw. I'll go with my heart. I just when the team sheets come out yesterday, what we'll do is we'll give people a reminder of we know what the team sheets were. So we saw the home side. So they had Alisson, Gomez, Endo, Van Dijk, Canate, Diaz, Szoboszlai, Nunes, Salah, Jones, and Alexander-Arnold. We know they've got a strong bench because they've got a amount of players on there who can come off the bench and change a game as well. And we saw our team lineup with Dubravka, Livramento, Cher, Botman, Byrne as captain, Bruno, Longstaff, Lee, Gordon, Joel and Isak. We had no Callum Wilson, no Kieran Trippier. Both got injuries, and Eddie Howe says it's unclear when they will return. So we know Trippier's in New York, and we know Wilson's off to Dubai. So obviously Eddie's let them go on a holiday.
That's not necessarily a holiday. They could be going to specialists.
So So we saw they weren't in the squad. We saw yet again we had another poor bench. Almiron was dropped. Yes, at last he was actually put on the bench. Still kept faith with Longstaff and Dan Byrne.
I think he had no choice there, to be honest.
No. So, well, you've got Lewis Hall on the bench, so you could have played him maybe. But anyway, so the game starts off and they're literally peppering our goal with shots, and you could see what they were trying to do. They were trying to get an early lead, trying to fast start, like we done last season when we had a lot of fast starts last season. And you're sort of fearing the worst, chat. And Dubravka stood firm. And look, they get a penalty on 22 minutes. Now, I thought it was a very dubious penalty. I thought Diaz went over too easy, in my opinion. Yes, he might have been caught, but he delayed and then went over. And Anthony Taylor gave the penalty. And we'll talk more about Anthony Taylor later on, because I've got a lot to say about this man. Because he isn't Premier League standard referee, that's for sure. But look, I thought, I just thought the way they were going on, they got their penalty, and then obviously you're thinking the worst, Salah, he's going to step up and bang this in the back of the net. He stepped up, and Dubravka saved it, and a good save. But what you've also got to look at is the fact is, not only is it a good save from Dubravka, but Salah actually hits it right at him as well. It puts it in. It's at his height as well. It's at a goalkeeper's height. Any goalkeeper would be proud of that penalty, because Salah did not hit that penalty great. He was trying to be clever, Salah, and it backfired on him. And Dubravka pulled off a great save. What was your thoughts on that penalty, Roly? Did you think that was a very soft penalty to give? Yeah. Even though Carragher said at half time it was a penalty all day long?
Carragher would say that, but I thought it was marginal. I think that if the ref doesn't give it, VAR don't overturn it. It wasn't a stonewall penalty, but you can sort of understand why the ref gave it, and you can also understand why VAR didn't overturn it. But yeah, you got to give take your hats off to Dubravka, because he didn't make Salah's mind up for him where he's going to put the penalty, because he stayed still, and then when Salah hit it, he was always going to be going in the right direction, and because of the height, he was able to get there. Though it's close to him, he did hit it with some power. Salah. So if he doesn't get a full connection on the ball, the power would have taken it in. It would have sort of gone in off the post or into the inside netting. So it's a really good save by Dubravka.
Yeah. If you watch,
I was just going to say,
watch a lot of Salah. If you watch a lot of penalties by Salah, Roly, he goes the same way.
But but even so, it's. It wasn't the best struck penalty positioning wise, but it had a lot of power behind it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a soft penalty, but it got given and the Dubs saved it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, after that, it was still like the LMO. Liverpool had all the possession. We had a goal disallowed for offside. They had one disallowed, didn't they, for offside as well. But, the thing is, that first half, it was just... It was all Liverpool that first half. And
what I liked about... We grew into it after that and had some chances.
We did. We had chances. What I did, one thing that really irked me, though, I mean, yes, okay, Lewis Miley done a foul. And it's not just me who's actually thought of this as well, but it's also going around the media as well. And one player from Liverpool is getting a lot of bad press at this moment in time, and that is Virgil van Dijk. Now the media are asking what his behaviour was last night. Is the captain of Liverpool? He ran up to the referee demanding Lewis Miley was red carded for that challenge and screaming at the referee for a red card. And the thing is, he was trying to get a young 17-year-old sent off. How disgraceful is that from Van Dijk, though, Roly?
Yeah, it's not just disgraceful. I mean, Miley clearly won the ball. His foot was low.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been It shouldn't have been a free kick. Because the Liverpool player was late and caught Miley's leg rather than the other way around. He was controlled. Mm-hmm. His foot was low. He clearly played the ball before the Liverpool player actually got anywhere near it. So, I don't think it should have been a free kick. It's disgraceful the way that they were moaning and screaming at the ref to get him sent off. Very unprofessional.
And was nice to hear when the half-time whistle come and the boos from the Liverpool fans. It was like, what on earth is going on here, you know? And it's like, hang on, you're not even getting beat, and you're booing your team off the park at half-time. And I thought that's great because we've done a bit of a job on Liverpool because, you know, it's not our fault Salah can't put his penalty in the back of the net, you know?
I mean, there's one thing I like to say about the offside goals. When are the Premier League going to adopt the UEFA and the Champions League semi-automatic offside? Because the way they do it fucks. It's almost, when you look at the camera angle, it's almost like they're trying to adjust it to get either a player onside or offside. For the Dan Burns disallowed goal, it looked like it was Isaac's arm was offside. You can never tell with the way they put those lines on. I mean, the one they had offside, I must admit my first thoughts were that it probably was on. These lines are so arbitrary, and the angles they show you on the TV are not the right angle, not the angles that you need to get a proper determination of whether the guy's offside or onside. So they need to have that semi-automatic offside because it's just a farce the way they do it.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, look, it was put to the Premier League to have that, and
turned it down.
Klopp was one of the first ones to say, no, I don't want it in here. So, look, the lines, I mean, we'll get into the second half anyway in a minute, but I mean, honestly, it's just, it's, you just look at the lanes. I mean, Isak was just offside, you know, and it was just one of those. It was just nothing you can do about it, you know. Yeah. And you don't know if the lanes are straight or they're wonky, you know, wonky lanes.
It's just the way they do it. It's just awful. And now there's too much margin for error because you've got these guys saying, like, when is the ball kicked? It's here, and then they draw the lines and move them. And then when they draw the lines, and then you see it's red, and you see the two lines, think, where the hell's that red line come from? Because it's sort of like on his elbow. We can't play the ball with the elbow, so it shouldn't. It's the parts of the body that you can play the ball with that are offside.
Yeah.
I mean, they really should. They've made a run for their own back in that they're disallowing goals for offside where there's like this toes offside. I mean, that's. Yeah. I mean, obviously, when I first started watching, you had to be level. If you were level, you were onside, and it wasn't level by every bit of your body. If your body mass is level with the body mass of the player, the defender, and you're onside, and that's how it should be. It's not. I mean, you rule out a goal because someone's toenails longer than somebody else's, or they've got bigger feet. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, we've seen that in that the first ever Nations League when England got the semi-finals and they scored what they thought was an injury time winner against Holland until Jesse Lingard's toe was offside. It's just that's where the precedent started on that, and absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, they're basically being too smart for themselves. I mean,
Yeah,
if you go by the body mass, the core of the body, if the core of the body, if your part of the core of your body is in front of is further forward than the core of the body of the defender, then you're offside. But
yeah,
it shouldn't be toenails or shoulder blades. It should be something that is you can say, like when they do that semi-automatic, they drew that sort of visual wall, and you can see which bit's offside. If you do the center of the part of the center of the body, it just makes it that much clearer that the guy's offside. And it should be something that should be clear and obvious when you do the decisions. And the way they do it now is just ridiculous. And that's not to
yeah.
say that. I mean that goes for both disallowed goals. Really, they're so marginal that both should have really been allowed.
I'm just going to go through some comments and then we'll get into the second half. Theophilus says Eddie has to reassess the team and re-strategize for the second half of the season. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my words out there. He must exert his authority on the players. Absolutely, Theo. I totally agree with that. I mean, look, he's got to do something different because it's look the 4-3-3. We know how teams can work that out, and teams can work out like Almiron how they know he's got to go from right to left foot before he can have a shot on goal because they know he's got no right foot, things like that. So yeah, I agree with where you come from on that.
I think one of our biggest problems at the moment is a lot of the goals we're conceding are from attacking positions.
Mm-hmm.
We've been attacking in around the box, and they've broken away and scored. We've got to be more wary when we go forward that we have cover at the back, because that's how most of Liverpool's goals were scored when we were attacking.
Yeah.
And that's when they were really dangerous. And
Yeah.
I thought they played well, but I didn't think they didn't wow me. And I was disappointed when Nunes got taken off in some respects because he was, oh God, he's an awful striker.
Isn't he just, yeah.
Awful. It's normally he only scores against us, but he didn't last night.
Yeah. BT says of the 20 players that were available in the last game, 6 were bought by Eddie Howe. Splat says, I love Miggy, but he has had his time. He needs to be moved on. We're going to talk about him later on in the show.
He's so infuriating.
Yeah. Ronald says, I can't believe Alex called me a Mackham. The need for a suggestion how may give Botman a rest against the Mackhams and put Burnett centre half against Sunderland. Fighting talk in the old days, like, yeah, absolutely, mate. Tristan says, Tony, it is a few games, 7 losses and 8, 1 win in 12. That's quarter of a season. One win in that form, you're down. I'm sorry. But for me, unless Eddie gets top 6, this is his last season. He's catching Bruce.
I think it's not catching Bruce because we're
nowhere near.
There's nowhere near that, and the form isn't good, and part of that is down to the injuries and not the lack of rotation, especially at the start of October when we had up until basic New Year's, we're playing 3 games a week. And especially at the start of that, we weren't able to rotate. Though the games are still difficult, we've got more time between games now. We've got a week because we've got no Europe. We'll start to get better players back, so we will be able to rotate. hopefully we'll get 2 or 3 in January. Well, this month, the transfer window's open, which will help. But I think the other thing we've got to stop doing, which has cost us, it cost us in the Champions League, and it's costing us in the league, is going gung ho. I know the players want to win, but you've got to be mindful that you don't leave the back door open. And that's what's been catching us. It's the counter attack. We've been so many goals we've given away when we've been attacking. It cost us all the goals Dortmund scored in the Champions League were when we were pressing, and we left the door back open. The winner for Milan, we were pressing for the win, and we left the back door open. Some of the goals against Liverpool was just putting it long because they knew that they're going to get a chance because we couldn't get back in time or in any sort of order. That's a big problem that needs sorting.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we know football's a results business, and if say for instance PIF decided we're changing manager, there's nothing anybody can do about it. Not even Amanda or Jamie Rubin can do anything about it because, PIF are the majority shareholders of the club. So at the end of the day, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute Eddie Howe's getting sacked or anything like that.
He'll get time. He'll get time. He needs to.
Well, football's a results business. Look, Roly, look what happened today. We've seen Wayne Rooney lose his job. And he's took Birmingham from 5th right down to 4th bottom. But the thing is, he's even said he didn't think he had enough time of 13 weeks to implement. And I thought, well, 13 weeks, if you've not won that many games, then I'm sorry, you've took the team downhill. You deserve to be sacked for that.
I think I forget who it was. I think it's Jordan Crone or one of the Geordie journalists was saying that, right, we're in a bad run. It's probably going to get worse before it gets better because the next game's at home to City, then we're away at Villa. Then we've got most of the top teams out the way, so the fixtures become easier. It is a results business. I don't think they'll panic. I don't think there'll be pressure on Eddie to turn things around. I'm sure he'll respond to it, but I don't think there's anything in the offing in the short term because these guys are long-term thinkers, and a lot of it will be down to where they thought we'd be this season when they bought the club. Obviously, we've got better, so expectations are higher, but they had a long-term plan that was incremental in progress. Right, we slipped back quite a bit from now, but we're still in touch, which is the main thing. We're still in touch. If we turn it round let's say, for example, we get a draw against Man City and a draw against Villa, 2 really big games, really tough games. You're then in a position to build from that, and then we still have to play the likes of Tottenham again. We've got to play Brighton again. We've got to play West Ham again. All of them are at our place. Got to play Manchester United again. If we get the momentum going, there's no reason why we can't finish in one of the European positions.
Yeah.
We need to turn it round soon.
Yeah. Brian, so I think we need to build on our bench eventually. Absolutely, Brian. I mean, look, the bench does need strengthening. The bench needs strengthening. Like I've said, this month, Eddie Howe needs to say to Dummett and Richie, dumped out the squad. Simple as. Ditch them. That makes room then to bring another 2 players in for squad depth. So they do need to be ditched. And eventually we do need to make sure we build on that bench as well. Ronald says, Dubravka man the match last week. We'll come to that later on, but not a bad shout. Lee says need 5 players out and 8 players in. It's going to be a lot, Lee. Alan says, heard someone on another podcast saying Wilson was a way to see a specialist. So soft pen and the other one not a pen. Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about that as well. But he's Ronald says Taylor should be demoted. Brian says, Thought Dubravka was brilliant with some saves he did. Yeah, absolutely. He was, he saved 10 shots last night. Tristan says for a club to get top four, you need a manager who wins 55% of his games. A manager who buys fit tactic, and rather Ashworth or Eddie aren't doing that yet. Every top side buys for their tactics. It's true enough.
I don't know. I think I know it's a results business, but you've got to bear in mind the issues that we've had squad wise. It's not so much depth; it's the injuries. I mean, if we'd had been able to bring 3 or 4 more players in, we wouldn't have had to have Dummett and Ritchie and Kraft on the bench. We'd have players that we could have rotated with, even with all the injuries. And that's the limitation of the squad. But the number of injuries we've had, I've never seen us get anywhere close to that many players out in one go. And then having so many games to play, there's a lot of mitigating circumstances, but the results of late haven't been good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
BT says we need a lot better than Hall. Quality players with pace is what is required. Right. The Lewis Hall thing apparently is signing in the summer. There is no clauses in his contract, so it's not to say that he has to play a certain amount of games or minutes for it to activate. So at the end of the day, it looks like he is here to stay. He'll improve, I'm sure he will. He's only 19. We've got to give the guy a chance.
I think Liverpool. That's one of the things is that I know everyone's saying what's up with Lewis Hall. I mean, Eddie said was a couple of weeks ago that we've been working with him every day to get him really comfortable in the system, get him, make him progress, and he's progressing well. But again, there are other people ahead of him in the pecking order. And earlier, when we could have done with the rotation, they obviously didn't think that he was ready to make that step up into the first team that's to start games. And I know why people say, what's wrong with him? I don't think there's anything wrong. He was one of those. I think he was bought because there was a chance to get him at a reasonable price, knowing the potential. And I don't think they anticipated having to use him much this season. And they've sort of stuck with that for whatever reason.
Okay. David says, hi, Tony Roly. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, David. He says, I thought Dubravka had a brilliant game. Could have been 5 down in the first 15 minutes. Yeah, we absolutely could have been. Alan says, Dubravka had a very good game. Kept the score down. Absolutely, Alan. Thought it was a soft pen, says Brian. Yeah, definitely, mate, it was. Tristan says, question for you, Roly. You're a reasonable man. If Bruce was in this form, why do we hold excuses for any other manager? If we finish mid-table, Eddie shows he's a one-season wonder, like at Bournemouth, and then dip.
The difference is that we played better football from day one under Eddie. There's a dip in form. Bruce was just awful tactically. He was awful. His tactics was give it to Maxi and hope. We have a system, right? It's broken down this season. Is it Eddie's a one season wonder? Well, we'll find out. We're only halfway through the season, but there's no reason to think that he is, because at Bournemouth he kept them in the Premier League for 4 seasons. So I wouldn't describe him as a one-season wonder. The form has dipped, but let's see if he can turn it around. I've got no reason to think he can't, because if you remember when he got here, we went.
Yeah.
Was it? It's our 15th game of the season we won, and he had half of those. We turned it round. There's no reason to think that he can't. I think one of the problems we've got is the discipline in midfield. I think we go too far. Everyone goes forward. There's no one dropping back to cover or protect the defence. So someone like Calvin Phillips or a DM would allow Bruno to go forward, because Bruno's really meant to be the deep line midfielder. Now, I think that if we had a DM, that would alleviate that. I mean, I know Tonali's suspended, but when Tonali was playing, they would switch. So one of them would be deep, whilst the other one went forward. And when the other one went forward, they'd switch. Whereas now, when Bruno goes forward, no one seems to drop back. Bruno's not the quickest. So if they get the ball and play it out quickly, we're struggling, especially with teams with pace like Liverpool. Liverpool have got pace right across their front three. And they killed us with pace. I thought after a slow start, I thought Dan Burn did reasonably well against Salah. He had one, I think it was the first goal, where I don't know where he was, but he was on the right side when he was playing left back. Also, he was covering back. So it's one of the tap-ins. So he got dragged well out of position. But one against Salah, I thought he did reasonably well, which is what you tend to find with Dan Burn. He starts slowly and then he tends to get a grip of the player, which is, I think that's why he got played when everyone was screaming for Tino to play. I thought Tino was hit and miss at the start of the game. I thought some of his passing and decision making was poor, but he grew into the game. It's. I mean, as I said, we've got half the season to go.
Okay.
After January, we've got most of the big teams out the way.
Yeah. Darts at the moment, the 16-year-old is now 4-2 up on Rob Cross, so he's 2 sets away from the final. Julie says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, Julie. Hope you're well. Just run through these comments, Roly, sorry. Liverpool are just disgraceful, full stop. Yeah, we're going to worry about that. David says, I thought the ref bullied Miley when he booked him. I thought Miley tackle on Salah was a good tackle. Brian says, I agree. Absolutely, Tony. Trying to get Miley sent off. Yeah, absolutely. Van Dijk is a disgrace. Ronald says, how is Clippity not getting a touchline ban compared to Guardiola? Baffling. It is baffling, absolutely, mate. I really don't get that.
That's another thing that really annoyed me on the Sky coverage. Every 2 seconds, they're bloody putting the camera on Clippity. You saw more of Clippity than you saw of the game. They've had it on him so much.
BT says Liverpool have plenty of years behind them in the Champions League earning money and sponsorship deals to purchase quality players. We are nowhere near them at this present time. Absolutely not. Bias says Bruno and Miley were both put on yellows when Curtis Jones made a 2-footed late slide on Gordon. Didn't even get anything. No, absolutely. Lee says Klopp, what a guffy knobhead. Camera spent more time looking at him most of the time on Klopp Teeth Time show. Absolutely, Lee. Julie says they don't want Man City and Newcastle in the football elite. Brian says I agree they need to sort out the offside thing with the lines. Yeah, definitely. At least the Shadows didn't screw us last night. No, absolutely. They were a band in the 70s. Ronald says, I honestly suspect some were glory hunters as kids on VAR, and that includes Liverpool. It isn't VAR. That is shit. Put the people behind it, absolutely. Bia says Bruno's our most creative player, but he plays deep in that 6 role, so when he goes forward, he leaves big gaps behind. Yeah, absolutely. It's 6 losses in 8, not 7. Media agenda, that is. He is Tony for likes. In one season, Eddie Howe is catching Steve Bruce this season. He was sacked for 12 losses this season. That's fair enough. Coffee says, hi, Tony, Roly and all. Hi to you. Our defence is wide open like a fishing trawler net, says Lee. Tristan says, Tony, we were winning in Milan. Eddie's arrogance cost us. If he'd held the 1-0 win, we'd be in Europe right now. Yeah, I mean, look, even if we'd got a draw, we would have still been in Europe. And that's the thing. We went too gung-ho in that game and we lost it. So nothing we can do. Even in all says Mason, good evening, Mason.
You say it's Eddie's tactic, or was it the players realizing what was happening in Dortmund and thinking we can qualify for the knockout stages and just going hell for leather rather than being instructed to do that. We don't know.
Yeah. David says we need a number 6 and another striker. Can't count on Wilson to be fit for more than a few games. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, I know there's rumours about the Calvin Phillips, but now there's rumours going around that Calvin Phillips might actually be on his way to Bayern Munich. So, don't know what's happened there.
Yeah, well, we'll find out.
But the only difference is, if he goes to Bayern Munich, he can't play in the Champions League for them because he's played for City. So he's cup tied for that competition. Thank you very much for your £5 donation, Ian. Even Antonio and Roly, pathetic performance yesterday, and I'm talking about the referee. Absolutely.
I was just about to have a go at you there.
Coffee said, don't think it's fair on Eddie to sack him while players who should have been moved on are still here. Absolutely.
I mean, that's the problem is the FFP, is that and the contracts that the players that we need to move on are on, because we couldn't give Jeff Hendrick away. Because of FFP, we can't spend like Man City and Chelsea did when they were taking over.
Yeah.
And we've still got players that in some cases are probably not really good enough for the Premier League, but too good for the Championship on wages that a mid-table Premier League side would pay. So we've got to. I mean, I think there are quite a few players that are out of contract in the summer, so they'll be off the wage list, and with all the new sponsorships that we've got already, and I'm sure there'll be more before the season's out. We should be in a decent position to strengthen in the summer.
Steve Watson, new Darlington manager. Nice one. Piff may have 80% control in Newcastle, but Piff leave it up to the rest of the board to oversee the club. Yes, Aaron Mines said that he does not want to get involved otherwise. Why does he have a mandate? Yeah, but they'll have meetings, I would imagine.
Well, they have to justify everything to him. He says yes or no, but he doesn't make they make the decision and he rubber stamps it or says no.
Bia says we need to be shopping in the elite market because that's why Tonali is a massive. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tristan says, Tony, you're a top bloke. Thank you very much, mate. He says, but we've had 8 of our first 11 all season. Yes, we've had injuries, but not to top players. Tonali is a bad thing unless we use injuries as an excuse for lazy players, lack of possession. I mean, look, we've had injuries. Yes, we've got injuries, and they're hitting us. Some players haven't performed well, and we know some of them players who haven't performed well this season. But look, I'm not even going to say last night, and I don't even want to hear the word mentioned, to be honest. I don't even see. I saw a couple of people putting it on like Twitter last night, and I'm like, no, we're not, because people, it's fatigue. How can it be fatigue? We've had a 6-day rest. We've not had a game for 6 days, so how can they be fatigued? So we need to stop using that excuse. And the one thing we need to stop using as well is, remember where we were 2 years ago or back in 2021. Don't use that phrase no more. It's not remember where we were then. Yes, we know where we were back then, but we've moved on since then, and we got to start looking where we're going to be in the future, not where we were back in 2021. So we need to stop using those sort of phrases. Anyway, we're going to get on with the second half of the game because...
Before we go there, I just like that last... if you could put that last comment back up, I'd like to take issue with players being lazy and lack of passion, because I don't think that any one of our players has been lazy or lack passion. I think they've all been given their all. We've got into a bad rut of form. I personally don't think that players sort of don't try. I think there are reasons why players pay badly, but I don't think it's through laziness or a lack of passion. And that's not just for us; that's for any team in any situation. And I always take issue on people saying, "Oh, the players are lazy." They're not. It's just they're not playing well at the moment, and part of that's a confidence thing. Part of that, the season will get easier now because we have a consistent run of one game a week, uh, where we didn't October October through to December. It was just mad the number of games we were playing. And right, we had 6 days rest, which is great. The mental tiredness take 6 days rest doesn't cure all ills. It helps, and it will get better as we go on. And we're playing one game a week. We'll be able to do more training. We're getting more players back, and I'm confident that the form will improve relatively quickly, and that will be challenging for securing a European place.
Yeah. Look, Littler is now 5-2 up, so he's one set away from hitting the final. Ronald says, I'm still fuming at Butinoli, as I honestly think that AC Milan knew. The lad has to hit the ground running now when his ban's over. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure he will do. Captain Mainwaring, hi mate, he says, I accept it's hard with injuries, but does Eddie have a plan B or C to change games during play? Look, some of his substitutions of late have been questionable.
Well, the thing about it, he's been making changes when things haven't been going right well. So he has a plan B. It just hasn't worked. The other thing, when you change things, you've got having a plan A is great, but the other side have a vote in what happens in the game. So if you change it and they change their system to negate that, you can find your plan B not working. Now, does he plan C or D? I don't know, but he definitely has different plans, because we've seen him make early changes, change the formation, and it's not worked. He did it for Luton. He did it against. He made change in the first half against Luton. He made changes early in the second half against Forest, and the changes didn't work. Sometimes your plan B doesn't work.
Yeah. SKS says, I think the season is the last season with the way we are. I don't think we are in trouble of getting relegated. Absolutely not. Certainly not going to get relegated, even though we are playing horrible. Do you think we should get De Gea on a free? I still say yes, go out and get De Gea on a free.
I don't have a problem with that. I think De Gea is an upgrade on Dubravka. It's quite good to hear Tony say that Dubravka played well last night after all this Dubravka hate.
What I can't get over is we get the ball, we have 3 or 4 players all over us, but when our opponents have the ball, we are 3 bloody yards away from them. Yeah, I know, Splat. I know exactly what you mean by that, mate. And yeah, we need to be a bit better in that area. SKS says, keep the rest of our budget for the summer because it's more expensive to buy players in January. Yes, it is, absolutely. I mean, look, the January window, we know it's not an easy window because people don't want to sell their players, and that's the thing. Woodby says, beat Sunderland, get a point from either Villa or City, and no more injuries. Sadly, that is where we are now. Oh, and let's hope the casuals and the gremlins don't clash. Yeah, absolutely. Billy F says, when Longstaff was brought down in the box, why didn't VAR look at it again? We're going to get into that in the second half of this. 5-2 Little, yeah, absolutely. He's playing well, Billy, and he's playing very well. VAR should be rebranded FAR, says would-be farmer. Do you know what? I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
At least we have Isaac Hayden back soon. Haha. I just need to get Mohamed Diarmi back as well. Well, talking about Isaac Hayden, apparently Newcastle have pulled him from his loan deal at Standard Liège. But before you think, oh, has he come back to the club? No. So we can send him on loan to a championship, because there's a whole host of championship clubs want to take Isaac Hayden on loan. So I don't know what's happened there, why Newcastle's decided to pull him in from Liège. Maybe, I don't know. We don't know what it is anyway.
Maybe there'd be, is Hayden's contract up in the summer?
I'm not sure. I think he's got another year, I think. I'm not sure.
Maybe if it's not up, maybe our Championship clubs willing to do an option to buy?
Right. Okay. So let's get on to the second half of the game because so anyway the game restarts in the second half and what happens 5 minutes in that second half? Liverpool score on 50 minutes through Mo Salah. An easy cross, really, wasn't it? An easy ball, and it was a tap in for Salah. We were just carved wide open by Liverpool, and unfortunately, Salah does what Salah does and scores. And you sort of I was sort of thinking when that goal went in, because to me it was far too easy of a goal to score. Yeah. There didn't seem anything from that. It was from Darwin Núñez, his assist that set up Salah, and you're sort of looking at that and thinking, no, this isn't going to be great now. Now Liverpool have got the goal, that tails are going to be up, and And then 5 minutes later, Isak scores. Beautiful goal as well. Nicely put past Alisson. Nice assist from Anthony Gordon. And you're thinking, 1-1. I thought, my scoreline, what I said before the game started, I went with my heart, I said 1-1. And I thought, yes, we've got the equaliser. Let's see this out now. And let's see what we can do from this. But... and you're sort of thinking, right, we've got a chance here. We've got a chance of winning this game, or maybe even just getting a draw out of this game. Isak's goal, Roly, lovely goal, wasn't it, past Alisson?
It's a great ball by Gordon, and a lovely finish by Isak.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you put him in good positions. Give him the ball in good positions, he puts it in the net. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the ball to him in those positions often enough, but the guy's clinical. He very rarely misses when he's one-on-one.
Yeah. It's just one of those, isn't it? And then obviously 74 minutes, Curtis Jones scores for them. Another easy tap-in goal, wasn't it? And
yeah,
you're just sort of thinking, it's just going from bad to worse for us, isn't it? And then obviously Liverpool then go 3-1 up as well. And you're sort of thinking, there's the game gone now. That's what you're thinking. You're thinking that game's gone now. Cody Gakpo again. That was a dodgy offside because I thought he was offside, and the way the lines were drawn, well, we didn't see any lines drawn for the Gakpo goal, and I'm like, well, come on, where's the lines? And then it goes, oh, it's onside. And I thought, well, but where's the lines? I've not seen no lines. I've seen no lines, so I thought, right, okay then. And then we go down the other end and get a goal through Botman. What a brilliant header from Botman.
Great.
And you're thinking, yeah, and then you're thinking, wow, 3-2. And you're thinking, right, okay, this is game on. Could this be another 4-3 classic in our favour, maybe?
Can we get something out of the game?
And then we see Longstaff go down in the box, flattened by Endo, and I'm shouting, penalty. And then Longstaff obviously gets back up and runs back. They go up the other end, and then we see the Jota get the ball, goes round to Bravkan. You're thinking, wow, well, this is 4-2. Now he's going to slot this into the net, and then he falls over, and you're thinking, what the hell's he doing? And I thought at first, has he tripped over the ball? And he's trying to go down for a penalty or what? And then when the referee punked the spot, I thought, and then he booked to Bravkan, I thought, hang on a minute, what's going on here? So
when the referee was pointing, I thought he was pointing at Jota for diving. I really thought the yellow card was for Jota, not Dubravka.
And so he points a spot, and then VR checks it, and then VR says, yeah, that's fine, you can go for it. And obviously Salah steps up this time, sends Dubravka the wrong way and puts it in the opposite corner. And it's 4-2 and you're thinking, that's game over now, you know. And then Joe Gomez dives just outside the box, and I'm shouting to the referee, give me a yellow card for diving, because the referee said, get up. He carried on playing. And I thought, well, why isn't Gomez getting a yellow card? You know, book these players for diving. Trent Alexander-Arnold probably should have had a second yellow card and sent off. You know, and I just thought Anthony Taylor lost control of that game. And just breaking news, Luke Littler, the 16-year-old, has beat Rob Cross 6-2 to go through at the final of the darts tomorrow night. So well done, 16-year-old Luke Littler. And well done to Rob Cross, giving him a round of applause as well. Yeah, I mean, look, I thought Anthony Taylor lost control of that game. This is supposed to be a FIFA-rated referee. He's one of the best referees in the Premier League. Well, he's not now, as far as I'm concerned. Michael Oliver's better than him anyway. But, you know, he lost control of that game last night. His decision-making was questionable at times. I thought he got both penalties absolutely wrong. And what I want to see is, I don't care about this VAR issue that, they don't want to re-ref the game. I understand they don't want to re-ref the game. But when there is a clear, obvious error like that, that is a clear and obvious error in my opinion. VAR should get in touch, or should have got involved in that and said to Anthony Taylor, I think, I'll tell you what, can you just go back to the bottom and just go and have a look at this, because we're not 100% sure where there's any contact here, or it's minimal. Do you want to go and have a look for a second look? Then he could have got the monitor and he could have looked at that and thought, oh, actually, yes, okay, his elbow's there, but it's not enough to send him over the way he went down. And it was a delayed reaction. He could have then cancelled the penalty. He could have cancelled the penalty. He could have cancelled the yellow card. And he could have actually booked Jota for diving. This is what I want. Hang on, Roly. This is what I want to see. I want to see VAR changed. Now, I don't agree with this, that they don't want to re-ref the game. I'm sorry. It's got to be done, because this is just getting out of hand. Do you think look, we saw it with Michael Oliver early in the season. He didn't give a penalty. I think it was for Brentford. They sent him to the monitor and he still said, no, I'm sticking with my decision. I'm still final. It's, you know, my decision's no penalty and they're not getting the penalty. You know, but I want to see VAR change that way. I want to see this coming out, because at the end of the day, if players are diving, I agree with what Joey Barton put on Twitter earlier on, and he's absolutely spot on, Joey Barton, you know. Great player for us at Newcastle United, by the way. And not only that, he put on Twitter and he said, especially about the Jota dive, he says, these players need to be pulled up by VAR and they need to be given retrospective action about what they're doing. He says, because you're not going to stop this. He says, VAR is creating more cheats than anything now, he says, because what's happening is, because the referees give the penalty, VAR won't overturn it. And he's absolutely spot on with what he said. And I totally agree with Joey Barton. Not a lot of things Joey Barton at the moment's getting agreement with, but on that, I definitely say Joey Barton's 100% right there. That was a clear and obvious dive. And then he's got the cheek to put it on his account as well. And then he put another tweet out with a caption on, I don't give an F.
I mean, the two things that annoyed me about that penalty. One, you could sort of understand why the ref might give it, but when you look at it, Dubravka's pulled out, and it's Jota's leg coming back to take his next step forward that just catches Dubravka slightly on the shoulder. Then he waits about 10 years before he goes down. I mean, it's just ridiculous penalty. And VAR should have told him, go and look at that. And it's not just look at the bit where the contact has been made, if there was any contact. Just look how far he's gone before he's decided to go down. It's not a penalty. And the other thing that I said at the beginning of the show left a bad taste in my mouth is that at 3-2, we're in the game. We could nick something. Right, it would be undeserved because Liverpool were better than us pretty much throughout.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't get the results you deserve. But to take that hope of getting a point away with 10 minutes to go on such a ridiculous decision, that's what galls me the most. And if the Bradford had come out and clattered him, or he'd gone down straight away, you could say, yeah, fair enough, a penalty. But that wasn't a penalty. And we've been beaten. And I think part of it is that, especially at Anfield, after the debacle with their goal disallowed against Tottenham, it's almost like they want to make things better for Liverpool, and they're getting lots of silly decisions go their way as normal. But that wasn't a penalty. I'm not saying we'd have got the equaliser, but we had the chance, or we would have had the opportunity to. But when you're 4-2 down with 10 minutes to go, the game's over. You're not going to score two in that time. What really annoying.
Obviously, after the game, Eddie disagreed with Martin Dubravka. He says, I don't agree with what Martin Dubravka said, because Dubravka turned around and said he accepted the penalty. He said to Anthony Taylor, that's fair enough. I've touched him. It's a penalty. I accept the yellow card and everything. And Eddie Howe says, no, I totally disagree because it was a clear and obvious dive. And he says, so I think Martin got that wrong, saying that he's accepting the penalty when he shouldn't have really.
Well, I think that he's sort of got to accept it, but he doesn't have to say that. It's one of those things that there was slight contact. I don't think it was enough to bring him down, because if it was, he would have gone down straight away. He took a big step, and then when he's thinking, oh, he's touched me, I'll go down.
Yeah. Billy's in the chat. He says, Taylor reffed the game perfectly for the narrative given by the Premier League and Sky. Absolutely, Billy. Well said, mate. Absolutely did.
Loved the commentary yesterday, by the way, Billy.
The commentary from Peter Drury, terrible. Oh, Bruno. It's not Bruno. It's actually Joe Linton on the ball, you know. Gary Neville was having a hard-on over Liverpool, and I thought, why is Gary Neville getting a hard-on over Liverpool? I thought he used to hate Liverpool because he played for Man United, you know. And Carragher is just, well, he's a blue-nosed red twat. That's what he is, because we know he supports the blue side of Merseyside as well.
It's just...
Captain Mandarin says, VAR is not common sense. It's driven by fear and the easiest option, absolutely. Tanji says, we didn't just lose a game because of poor refereeing and VAR. We lost it because we couldn't defend properly. Absolutely, Tanji. And you know what, Tanji? I'm not going to disagree with that because our defending was a shambles, you know.
My whole point on that is that we were still in spite of our poor defending, we were still in the game until that penalty was given.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah,
but I want to know. I was waiting for the commentator to say, "Oh, they're checking the Longstaff one," and they said, "Oh, probably why they didn't check it is because Longstaff didn't appeal for it."
We shouldn't have to appeal.
No, it's up to the referee to give it. Splat, good. Do you know what? Not a bad point, that, mate. Liverpool been taking diving lessons from Tom Daly. Little lad looks older than 16. He does, Julie, doesn't he? VAR's costing a lot of clubs, yeah. Also, Tony and Roly says, David on Sky Sports, all Liverpool, Carragher and Jamie Redknapp. Nobody from Newcastle, even Peter Drury couldn't wait for Liverpool to score. Absolutely, mate. It was a shit show. Dubravka, what a keeper, what a guy, says Foxy. Hey, do you know what? I said I will give credit where credit's due. Absolutely. PGMOL sucking up to Liverpool due to the Spurs era. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And do you know what I'm waiting for now? I'm waiting for Howard Webb to come out and go, well, actually, yes, that wasn't a penalty for Jota. And also, we should have made sure we checked Longstaff's because that was a penalty. But we do apologise that we didn't get it. Bit late now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a minimum contact, says Tangi. Jamie Carragher can stand in front of the biggest TV screen on Sly Sports Studio and watch slow motions. Totally biased. Not enough contact to go down. Absolutely, Tangi. It's disgusting, isn't it, really, mate? Billy F says, for officials, don't care if they get it wrong. At worst, all they do is get a match ban. Yeah, and that was Stuart Atwell last night. I think Joey Barton has some good points about women comparing their experience playing with professional men, and he's being falsely accused of misogyny, but misandry should be cancelled now. Fair enough. Spot on, Tony. I felt exactly the same about Gary Neville. Was baffled why he was so in awe with Liverpool. Exactly. Branford 7 says, I wish the officials would judge the situation without the slow motion replay. Everything looks worse in slow motion. Yeah, absolutely, mate. I totally agree with you. If you appeal, you can get booked for dissent. That's true. Liverpool should change their club name to Swimming Pool FC. Appropriate name for the divers, yeah. I mean, Joe Linton, according to the rules for bookings, could have got 3 yellows. I'm just not going to play the victim on poor refs and VAR. But a 3-2 down in that pen was awful. Final nail in the coffin, says Tangi. Absolutely, mate.
That was the point. It was the final nail in the coffin. At 3-2, we're still in the game with everything to play for, with 10 minutes to go. And we were looking dangerous going forward. We scored twice. So there was no reason why we couldn't score another. And they took that as taken away by a crap decision.
Yeah, it's just...
That's what grates the most.
I still don't know what... Yeah, it does. It just... No. It just makes a mockery of it, doesn't it, you know?
Yeah.
Right. So Aidan says, I know it's got nothing to do with the game, but I've read a lot of sources linking us to Brahim Diaz. Curious to what you think about it. Think he could really help us fix our issues and attack. I've not heard that link, to be honest, mate. But you know, let's have a look at his stats. Brahim Diaz, well, he's Spanish. 24 years of age, can play with both feet. He's an attacking midfielder. His passing's his strength. Aerial duels are his weakness. He started 6 out of 13 games for Real Madrid. He scored 3 goals and got 1 assist as well. Remember, he's only started 6 out of 13, so he hasn't played a lot. He's averaging 42 minutes a game. I mean, look, he can play right-hand side as well, which is great. I would say if it's something, say, maybe on a loan till the end of the season, see how he does, then yeah, because I mean, he's got a contract with 2027, so I'd be happy with a loan deal on that. But whether we buy him or not, I'm not 100% sure. I've not seen a lot of the lads, so I can't really comment, you know. But yeah, not a bad shout, that. Tangi says, I bet Mike Dean was happy being paid for his services working for Sly Sports while his sons were watching their beloved Liverpool. Exactly, because look, another one. Why is he on Sky Sports as the referee? You know, and the thing is, right? Yeah, his sons have a season ticket at Liverpool, and he's a supposed Tranmere fan. Well, we know he's a Tranmere fan. But deep down, do we know that he's actually not a Liverpool fan? No, we don't. Nobody would know that.
But to be fair, he did say that he didn't think that the second penalty was a penalty.
At 3-2, we should have had a pen and or second yellow card for the challenge, but this doesn't go with the Liverpool love fest. Absolutely. Beer. The irony is the Scousers booing the ref at half-time. Are they for real, says Ronald.
Yeah, that's what I
Foxy
thought.
says, I agree, Tangi. No idea how Joe Linton didn't have a yellow in the first half. We know decisions will go against us at grounds like Anfield, so no excuses from me. The way we set up allowed Liverpool to dominate, yeah. Joe Linton put a shift in yesterday, didn't he? Tristan says, I would say no, because he was at Milan and they got rid of him to Madrid and got Chukwueze and Pulisic. Okay. That's fair enough.
That we've not picked up on. from the game. There's one incident where Miggy is set free on the right. He cuts back and shoots rather than lay it back. I can't remember who was at the edge of the box.
Well, I was going to come on to that. Anyway, I was going to come on to that, Roly, so we'll keep that for a moment, okay? If you want a right winger going by Bakayoko from PSG, they're smashing their league. Yeah, he's going to be expensive, though, isn't he? We need to change away games, get back to clean sheets. Playing too open, difficult to watch, says Foxy. Do you know what? I can't disagree, Foxy. We are too open, mate. We're leaving holes in that midfield. Diaz was at City. Yes, I thought I recognised the name Brahim Diaz. But again, if it was a loan deal, I haven't got a problem with the loan deal. Don't forget to hit that like, guys. Thank you very much. And also, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe as well. It is free to do so. So the Almiron shot. I mean, look, Miggy had to put it to his left foot. Shot way over the crossbar. Now, we've got to be careful here because I don't want to upset the Miggy fan club, because there is a fan club out there for Miggy. And if you see anything wrong about him, you'll get jumped on from a great height. Look, but Miggy had that shot, put it well over the bar. We saw the frustration, anger from Alexander Isak. Right, I'm going to have my say now before I let Roly speak. Now then, Miggy Almiron. I'm sorry, his time at this club is done now. I'm sorry. He's finished here at Newcastle as far as I'm concerned. Because I am sick of this. Time after time, game after game. This has gone on for months now. He has not played that well. Yes, he got that goal against Fulham. You couldn't really miss it. The one he missed against Milan was so bloody embarrassing. All he had to do was stick his right foot out instead. Oh no, I'll have to go on my left foot. So by then, tomorrow he could clear it. Absolute embarrassment. It's he's not being good enough. He's not a right winger, in my opinion. I've always said he plays better from the left, but that's not going to happen. It's time. It's time we went out there and got a right winger in who can actually cross a ball and can actually score a goal as well. Last season he had a great start. He had a great season last season, scored some great goals and had his own goal of the month competition. And as a player, you think, right, okay, I've had a great season. Next season, I'm going to make it even better, so I'm going to go out there and smash it even more next season. We've seen the total opposite. He's gone backwards. And as I say, I don't want to upset the Miggy fan club, but I'm sorry. A player running around with a big smile on his face all game does not win you games, does not get you goals, does not get you crosses for assists. I think his time's done. And I think it's time we went out there and got a proper right winger in. We really need to get a right winger in this club. Look, I think he's been great for what he's done for us, but he has gone backwards this season. Some people might disagree with what I'm saying, and that's fair enough, because it's all about opinions. I see would I keep him as an impact player, but did he make an impact when he come on last night? Not really. So, I don't know why he went to blast that shot. Why couldn't you just made a pass? Isak's there waiting for it. Isak probably has the better chance to score than what Miggy has. He's just getting far too wasteful. But before I come to you, Roly, I'm just going to go through comments first, and then we'll come to you on that one as well. Because I think a lot of people are just getting sick of this now with Miggy Almiron at the moment. Right, so Ronald says, if I said I support the Heat, could I referee Toon games? Probably not, no. Tristan says Minty needs another year away because in Holland he's not scoring enough 3 goals in a Farmers League where Gakpo got 30 plus. Don't agree with it being a Farmers League because Eredivisie is a very good league.
And the thing is, he's not started every game, and he's been injured for a while as well.
Yeah. Foxy says Diaz is going nowhere, starts every game lately for Real Madrid. Fair enough. Miggy went for another worldie instead of passing. Yeah, absolutely. Billy F. Tanji says, one thing I've always known much playing football and watching the game, you get now for sitting back, do it when you have to, but choosing to sit back is the defeatist weak mentality, absolutely. I heard a link to Blackburn's Rory Finneran. Okay, don't know a lot about him. We're always better when we attack and offer a threat, says Tanji, yeah. Tristan says, Tony Roly, we need to be more direct wide forwards who can cut the ball back to Isak, as Isak's ability is running onto the ball, so cutbacks would work. Crossing doesn't work for us.
Miggy never crosses.
We should sell Miggy this window, says Billy F. The more he plays, his value goes down. Foxy says, a massive overreaction with Miggy, with everything that happened yesterday, the poor performances from everyone, 34 shots on goal, and people will pick out one moment from Miggy for why we lost. We're not saying that one moment from Miggy's cost with the game, Foxy. I'm not saying that for 1 minute. All I'm saying is, why did he have to go for that shot? Why could he have not made a pass, you know? And that's what's disappointing. This is what we're saying. We're not caught, you know. It's just the fact he's taking these shots on and they're going way over the crossbar, and it's like, why isn't he passing? That's what we want to know. That's what we want to see.
It's his decision making is the issue. He shoots when he should pass, and he passes when he should shoot. And it's not just one game. He's been doing it consistently over pretty much the poor run of form we've had. I know it's not just his fault that we're in a poor run of form, but it contributes. Yesterday, when people saw he cuts inside. Yesterday, when he cut inside, that was a great move. But there's no way he's going to score from there. Even last season, when he was in his purple patch, he probably wouldn't have scored. I forget who it was, but there's a guy coming onto the edge of the box. And when he shot, you can see him just shouting at Mickey, why did you bloody pass to me? I'm open.
Yeah.
It's just infuriating because the guy gets himself into good positions, then makes the wrong decision.
Lewis says, I still don't understand how the second penalty for Liverpool was won.
Nor do I.
Bias says we should offer Miggy to Feyenoord on loan for the rest of the season to get Minty back.
Yeah, why not?
Jamie Carragher was not that bad, Tony. He said there was second pen was not a pen. Longstaff should have been given the penalty. I didn't really listen much to him, Ian, to be fair, so I can't really stand the knob. Spit, who I call him. Just thinks it's acceptable to spit at people. Should have been sacked by Sky, but, you know, again, weak Sky, don't want to get rid of him. The way to build a bench is buying better starters and having our current starters be our bench players. Absolutely like Man City do, yeah. I think we should sell Miggy and get 15 million.
Yeah, I'd take that.
If the team are playing poor, says Foxy, it's unrealistic to expect the sub to come on and change the whole performance for the whole team. We're not saying that, Foxy, but what we're saying is, so you see with other teams, sometimes teams don't play well and they bring a sub on, and that sub just ignites something into that team, and all of a sudden the team just start playing. And we're not seeing that at the moment. Obviously, we haven't got the bench for it, and that's what we've got to strive towards. But you see with some teams where they're just not playing well, but they'll bring a sub on, and all of a sudden that player comes on, and that team just, the whole characteristics of that team change. And, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Don't always pay off. Sorry, mate, there's 3 sides in Holland. Ajax are done. Feyenoord lost to Celtic, and PSV is in the top side right now in the Farmers League. It's not a top 5 league. I think Miggy thinks if he scores, it will make up for his shortcomings, says Splat. I
think the thing about Miggy...
Tanji says we miss Willick, but we also miss Anderson. Anderson just for his strength and ball retention. Longstaff is just gas and lungs and no technical ability, and Hayes in matches, I think, yeah. Do you know what? We do miss Joe Willock. We are missing Joe Willock a hell of a lot.
Yeah, being a bit harsh on Longstaff. I thought he was really good.
I do agree with you on Longstaff in a way, because he has been pretty poor since he's come back.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty. I thought it was okay first half. Faded a bit in the second, but I don't think it's been that. It's not been any worse than anybody else.
Yeah. We need a striker, says Lewis, saying that
Yeah,
Wilson's out till next month.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, Eddie said yesterday it's unclear. He doesn't know when they're going to come back. So could be out for longer than that. It's him and Kieran Trippier. Do you think if the two get beat by the shit on Eddie Saturday, Eddie will go, do you know what it is? I'm not even thinking of that.
We're
Look,
not that big.
thing is, Trevor, I still think we're going to go out there and absolutely smash them. And we've got to go out there and smash their Mackhams because, look, I'm not having it where they keep shouting about this 6 in a row. We need to shut them up about this 6 in a row. And we need to win that game. Yes, there's going to be a lot of pressure on that game. And I'll tell you now, there's going to be a lot of cards in this game. Now, I could predict now at least 2 red cards in that game because you can see it happening. You can see Joe Linton going in hard on a tackle and probably getting a red card. You
Say
know,
that.
Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon's looking forward to the game. We know what he's like with derby matches. Look, it's going to be a hell of a game. And I don't want to even think about we're losing to them. But I do get what you mean is if we did get beat by them, could that be the end of Eddie Howe? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But nobody knows at the moment. But until then, let's hope we go out there and absolutely stuff them. Go out there and beat them 5-0. That's what I would love to see.
Yeah, me too.
And
I
to
think
be
that
fair, anyone can lose to Celtic teams like Swansea and Sunderland. Be careful, Bia, because remember, Ian's in the chat. And he'll come back to you with something. We're missing Mafino, says Coffee. We're missing Murphy, aren't we?
yeah, because I think if Murphy had been fit, Miggy wouldn't have played as many games this season.
Alan says, would not blame Miggy for yesterday's match, but this season has been poor. Only really had last season where he scored a decent amount of goals. Sorry, not good enough along with a few of us. Well said, Alan.
Yeah.
Celtic's the only good team in Scotland, says Mad Mag. He has my friend Martin from Mancunian Way. Hi, Martin. Hope you're well, mate. He says, evening, Tony and Roly. Hope you're all good. Yeah, absolutely, mate. And Happy New Year to you, Martin, as well.
Martin, can you make sure that you stop Liverpool winning the league? This is the time of year that you start playing. So please, can you make sure they don't win? Because my other half is a Liverpool fan and all their family are Liverpool fans. I'll never hear the end of it.
Bias says, I don't care what the Man U fans say. That's a wig on Ratcliffe's head. Oh, he's got a syrup to fix, has he? Mancunian Way says, thoughts on Kevin Phillips maybe being off now for you? Yeah, I've heard that he could be on his way to Munich, and that's a strange one. But again, it depends. I don't know what's going on there, to be honest with you. But yeah, I would like to have had him in, to be fair, because we need a DM. But if it's not to be, that's not to be. We'll have to look elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like him in. I think he would help screen the defence, and it allows Bruno to go further forward.
Mad Mag's getting into trouble off Ian. Biarra as well. Am I being biased for stating more Geordie lads have to be in the first team facing the Mackhams, says Ronald. No, not at all. Not biased at all. I could even see Carrius playing in goal on Saturday.
You think Carrius will play in goal on Saturday?
I think he'll rotate, yeah, I think he will.
Maybe.
Why not? You may as well give Carrius a run out.
I know you're dying to see Carrius between the sticks. But, yeah, I mean,
Carrius could do a budgie save a last-minute penalty.
Or do a Dubravka.
Yeah. But yeah, but the last...
but when... Let me
Budgie was there, he saved.
I'm not against Carrius. I just think that Dubravka's a better keeper. This is why I wanted him in. Now, whether we rotate the goalkeeper, I don't know. But I think that with the form we're in, and the run of games we've got coming, we need some confidence. So I wouldn't be surprised if we name an unchanged team. We've got the full week. Let's play our strongest team. If we play our strongest team, Gordon and Isak will tear their defence apart and we'll win comfortably. And that's what we need. We need to get some wins. And it doesn't matter who it's against. So let's start with the Mackhams.
Trevor says, I've got a ticket for the match on Saturday. There's 10 of us going in the Sunderland end, so I might not be back. Let's hope you get out of there safe. Make sure you take your sanitizer with you.
Make sure you wipe your feet on the way out.
Yeah, no VAR at Sunderland on Saturday. Yeah, absolutely. Bamford says, for how long is Trippier out, and what's your opinion on Kraft? I mean, look, Trippier, we don't know. Eddie said last night it's unclear on when they would return. So that sounds like they're going to be out for at least a month, in my opinion. Depending on the severity of the injuries, obviously. Kraft, do you know what? Why not give him a go? I mean, look, to be honest with you, I was a bit disappointed when Byrne played last night. I would rather have had Livramento at left back and Kraft at right back last night, because I think Kraft's done all right when he's come in.
Yeah, he's done well.
But again, he's another one of these players who's out of contract in the summer and probably won't have a new deal.
I wouldn't be, in some respects, I wouldn't be surprised if they let him go in January. Get a few quid.
Well, they're trying to sell him in January, if we get a replacement. Tangi says, Miley putting some decent tackles in and got Bruno's carrying the midfield. Longstaff, I don't see him tackling, passing. I do see Longstaff diving and going through.
He made some really good tackles last night. He made 3 or 4 really good tackles last night. They're breaking up some Liverpool.
Mason's in the chat. Isn't he a Swansea fan? Yes. Jamie Carroll Jace.
For all those younger, you need to explain that, because for the younger people in the film, they won't know. Bob Calge's had a puppet dog called Spit the Dog.
Yeah.
So if you're under about 40, you won't know who Bob Calge's is.
Tangi says, I don't want Phillips at all. Hardly kicked a football since the last Euros.
Yeah, I think he'll do a really good job if we get him.
Yeah. Foxy says the reason we are losing games is because we are defensively embarrassing. Defence and midfield, we have nearly conceded the same amount as last season already, and have to be clear of what the issues are. Exactly. Yeah. In the last season, we only lost 4 games. We've lost 9 already this season. I don't care who wins the league, as long as it's not Liverpool or Arsenal. Martin says, we want Kimmich and they are interested in Calvin Phillips. So I think it's what we want, guaranteed sell rather than just loan. Got to be fair to him as well on our end. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what the deal you're trying to do, fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Happen to roll it. Okay, BIO forgiven. Tony, Joe Bellingham is the fact that he's on form and he's just as good as his brother. He will shock our midfield. We need to sign him. Joe Bellingham, I think he's done all right for something, if I'm honest, but I wouldn't be surprised if Real Madrid take him. I really wouldn't. We saw the rumours going around last week that the reason Tony Mowbray walked out on Sunderland was because the chairman was sleeping, the owner of the club was sleeping with Tony Mowbray's daughter. We don't know how true that is, by the way. That might just be rumours. But that's what was going around. That is the reason why Tony Mowbray left Sunderland so abruptly. No smoke without fire, as I say, but we're not going to get into that one because we don't care. It's not our club. We couldn't give a shit what goes on down the road. We like a bit of scandal coming out of there now and then. No, Man City know how to get rid of players when they need to. We need to do the same. We need to be ruthless now to have sentimental memories. This is what I've been saying, Tanji. There's no room for sentiment. When I was disappointed when Eddie Howe come out and said, I see Jamal Lascelles as a future here. And I thought, why, Eddie? Why? Why has he got a future here? Yes, he might be a good leader in the dressing room, but he's not what we need. He's not good enough for the next level. I'm sorry, he's not. And, you know, Eddie has now got to stop the sentimental side, because he does play his favourites, let's be honest. And we know Eddie Howe plays his favourites. And even Bournemouth fans have said the same. Eddie Howe will play his favourites.
Every manager does.
But please, Eddie, for the sake of the team, just let the sales go in the summer. Don't keep them on.
I think that the problem we've got is that it's shifting players rather than buying players. Because I think if we got a decent offer for Lascelles in the summer, we'd probably let them go. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to selling players, it's not up to Eddie, it's up to the board. And if they think there's a good deal to be done, they'll do it. Like they sold Shelby and Wood last January, because the deal was right. But shifting players is always going to be difficult for us, because we don't have the quality of player that's going to have loads of clubs looking for them, like City do, like Chelsea did have, and Liverpool to some extent. So it's hard. It's easy for us to buy players. It's harder to move players on, especially with FFP. If we didn't have the constraints of FFP, we could buy the players we want and then say to all the ones we don't, well, you haven't got a future here. Well, we just bought all these. Find yourself a new club, and they would. We might not get as much as we probably want, but the problem we've got, because we can't buy as many players as we want to in each would have liked to in each window, we have been stuck with players that don't or won't reach the level we want to get to. I mean, Jacob Murphy's the kind of person that he's been good for us last season. He was good until he got injured this season, but he's not someone that I see being in the club in 2 seasons' time.
No. BS says Craig Hope reckons Trippier could be back Saturday.
Oh, that'd be good if he is.
Tanji says a lot of our players have reached their potential, need to be moved on. Other teams have worked us out. I think so as well.
Yeah, that's true. But as I said before, saying, oh, we need to move them on is all good and fair. But being able to do it is a totally different thing. You've got to have someone that wants the players. And we haven't had people knocking down the doors for most of our players since the takeover.
Billy F says, fans go to Sunderland should have to get a vaccination before crossing the Tyne Bridge. Alan says, the Mackhams will be up for this, I bet. Bet they would love to make it 7 in a row. And they are a mid to top championship team, so that'll not be easy. Yeah, that's true.
Be easy, but if we go about our business as we should do, at the top end of the pitch, we've got too much quality for them.
Yeah. Tamji says, we can't keep these players, have them lingering around, or we will have 10 Matt Ritchies just hanging around the club. I totally agree, mate.
Yeah, but as I say, I agree that we can't keep them around, but you've either got to let their contracts run out or have someone that wants to buy them. If no one wants to buy them, we're stuck with them until the contract runs out. And that's the problem.
Foxy's Standard Liège actually cut Hayden's loan short because they said he's not good enough for the elite leagues like Belgium. We'll release him this month. What I told you, it's a great league, Belgium, you know. Bias says, Philip Schofield is first in line to congratulate Luke Littler on his semi. Oh, for God's sake, Bia, Jesus Christ. We're just waiting for somebody to say something like that, and it just happened to be Bia.
Of course it was me.
And hey, Bia, do you remember? Look, highlight from last year for you was when Mr. Gallant called you for using his picture. Image rights, do you remember when he said that about you? And he goes, I went on the chat and there was somebody there using my picture. Bia Bacon. Oh, I'm naming you. That was Paul Gallant. Remember that highlight? Brilliant. Just funny. Just so funny. Trevor says I could end up with 9 on each side. Mad Max says, can't lie, I'm scared of any team that can make changes an hour into the match. Okay. Okay, we're not going to read that coming out. Sorry, Lewis. Tony Mowbray had 3 sons and it was put on it in reaction to all lads renting out a penthouse. Right, okay then. So, all right, okay. That's fair enough. I don't know, to be honest. I just said it's a rumour in it. I'm surprised the chairman of Sunderland doesn't get into trouble off the PGMOL for what he done, no, because he had the linesman. He had a picture of the linesman up. With the guide dog and a white stick. And that was what the Sunderland owner put out there. And I thought, oh, I'm surprised you haven't been done from the FA for that, because that's the sort of thing that would happen. May keep the cells, get them into coaching. Foxy says Man City Deadwood, they can get rid of Sterling with 1 year left on his contract, over 50 million. We send our PS on loan to Standard Liège and Southampton, different levels. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Foxy.
Yeah, that's my whole point about moving players on. It's hard for us because the players we want to move on aren't good enough to command or to have teams that can pay decent fees wanting them.
Tanji says, in order to get the next step in terms of progress, we need to move on more than just Wood and Shelby. Wilson should also be sold as he's always injured. Get money in while you can. This is what I've said, Tanji. If in the summer we can have 3 strikers, and we're in that position where we've got 3 strikers and we sell Wilson. Wilson's a sellable asset, and you'd still get 20 million for Wilson. Yeah. Not a problem at all, because he's proven in the Premier League.
Yeah. I mean, Wilson's is one that we can move on and get a decent fee for, but it's the likes of the Richies, the Dummets, the Crafts, Hayden. I think those sort of players that are difficult to move on, and those are the ones we want to get rid of. I think that let's talk that we'd take 20 to 25 for Jacob Murphy, which is would be a good deal if we can get the replacement in.
Tristan says, sorry, Roly, Villa make less money than us in revenue and gates tickets, so how couldn't we? It's Ashworth loving the English players, which has cost us more. We wasted our summer apart from Tino Livramento.
Are you sure that Villa make less money than us? Because it's only in the last, since the new ownership was taken on, that we've actually started vamping up our commercial department. I still don't. I think that Villa are doing well now, but I don't think that it's not. As I say, it's not getting rid of the players at the right time. It's the problem we've got is the people that can afford to pay money for the players we want to get rid of don't want them. So we've got players that are essentially Championship level players on Premier League wages. So the Championship clubs won't go for them because they can't afford them, and the Premier Leagues don't want them because they're not good enough. Jack Grealish was a promising player, and is a very good player. So you can sell him at a huge for a huge fee. But as I say, it's only since they changed the managership to Emery that they've actually become a good team. They've made some good signings before he came, like Ollie Watkins has been good. But even he's stepped up a level since Emery's got there. So I don't subscribe to that Villa is the best. We should be following their example, because I don't think that they're comparable.
Yeah. That's fair enough. Right. What does Mad Max say here? As much as I hate the Mackhams, Tony, that tickled me about the picture with the gay dog and the white stick.
I've not seen it.
I'm gonna pop it on screen now for you. See how we go. Go.
Is that? Oh, I recognise him. Is that Gillett?
What, the linesman?
No, the linesman with the white stick. That's is it Jared Gillett, the most incompetent referee in the Premier League.
Now, I've just looked at the account. It's not the actual account, the official account for Kirill. It's for the Sun and No. Now, it's actually a parody account. But still, I think it's quite funny, though, that in it.
Yeah,
That's
it does
brilliant,
look
in
like,
it?
does look like Jared Gillett, or it looks like him when he was repping our game against Chelsea. God, he was
So
abysmal in that.
there you go, man, Mag. There's that picture for you, mate. There you go. Tiger Studios. Tony, how long does Howe have left? Can't say, mate. We don't know. Billy says, hopefully he's here for the long term. I want to see Howe succeed and bring trophies, but, we know at the end of the day, football can be ruthless. Billy says, Tristan Villa have a higher FFP ceiling, not because of revenue and tickets, but because of the Grealish money. Yeah, absolutely, Billy, well said. Fraser's actually doing decent with Southampton, says Foxy. Yeah, he is. He's having a good time.
Let them buy him.
Martin says it isn't always easy. We had to pay Otamendi off to leave for Benfica, so it isn't always easy, to be honest. Again, something you build on as a club in 5 years, you will sell better as you will buy better, etc. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, Martin.
Wilson isn't the only one. We have players in their 30s who are good to get us where we are, but the next step we have to say thank you, but we need to generate the transfer kitty. Well said, Tanji. The Grealish sale lifted Villa's FFP, says Ronald. Grealish was a release clause, so had to be paid in the maximum of 2 payments, says Martin. The Tiger says the squad's not good enough, need new players, new tactics. I don't get how people are accepting this shite.
I think you're being a bit pessimistic there. I think the squad, there are players that we need to move out of the squad, don't get me wrong, but I think the overall squad, when everybody's fit, isn't bad. The problem we've had is that we've had portions of the season where we've had 13 players out injured and the squad's 25 players. I think no one's had that sort of injuries. If Villa had had that amount of injuries, they would be nowhere near where they are now.
Martin says, plus when we got taken over, FFP wasn't around. FFP was brought in to stop another us, sadly, by the cartel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone was shaped by the owners are not going in for deals and getting players in. Getting deals all the line in January is very difficult.
This FFP is the problem.
Tanji says, J7's a great player. He's not world class. Could we be ruthless and get money for him? He gets booked a lot and his fair share of injuries. Do you know what? That's not a bad shout. I know as much as we like Joe Linton, but you could cash it. If somebody said, look, if say a Barcelona came in and said, we'll give you 80 million for Joe Linton, and you think, yeah, take it. Absolutely.
I think with Joe Linton, it all depends on how much we're offered for him. We paid 40 for him, so we'd want more than that.
Foxy says, Villa, not just Grealish, they also sell youth for great profits. Archer, Philogene, Chukwuemeka, altogether around £55 million. Squad players sold like Target, Nakamba, Ings, Trezeguet, and Samata. Yeah, absolutely. And
they've got a decent youth development system. We're just building that. So, I mean, Man City, case in point, they have built up their youth system to sell. Look at how many young players they've sold for decent money. Trafford went to Burnley for like 20 million. They've had other young players that have gone to Cole Palmer's a youngster. He's gone to Chelsea
Mhm.
for big money. They have the quality in the youth system to be able to bring them up to Premier League standard. They're not good enough for their team, but they can sell them on for decent money. Again, that helps the FFP because you're paying nothing for them, and you're getting the money for them. We're not at that stage yet because we've only just started building a proper youth system. We're just fortunate that Lewis Miley dropped into our lap and turns out to be really, really good.
Ronald said, I took my daughter against Arsenal back in the 2000s when Allardyce was manager and shouted, "Oh, ref, have you forgot your fucking white stick?" And I had to apologise because I was in the family enclosure but got laughed at. Oh, brilliant. Splat says, excellent, entertaining show, Tony and Roly. Sorry, must leave you guys. Ta-ta for now, guys. Yeah, you too, mate. Take care. And yeah, absolutely. Some people have got work in the morning as well. So, yeah, so sadly, we are coming to the end of the show as well. But look, it's been a great, we've had some good banter tonight. As always, we always have good banter on this show, that's for sure. Oh, but before I go, I've got a name. Right, so what I do is I name the 3 players that I think stood out last night for us. So, look, there was some good performances out there. I thought Joe Linton played all right. Put some good tackles in. Yes, okay, he should have lucky to stay on the field probably. Anthony Gordon's assist, beautiful assist. Isak took his goal well. Botman took his goal well. Though Botman didn't play too bad, to be fair. So this is how I'm going to mark. It's hard to get 3 players together, but I do it this way, and I think it's a lot easier. So in third place, so in third place for in the player of the match. So third place goes to Sven Botman. As I say, lovely header on his goal. Well directed. Second goal of the season for Botman. And I don't think he really put much of a foot wrong. He couldn't do a lot about the goals going in. So I thought Botman was fine. So I give Botman third place. So yeah, I thought he was absolutely fine last night, Botman, to be fair. Second place is going to this man, Alexander Isak. I thought, yes, took his goal well, scored for the second time in a row against Liverpool at Anfield. They'll be sick of the sight of Isak. Yeah, I thought he took his goal really well. The assist from Gordon was brilliant. Took his goal really, really well. So Isak gets runner-up man of the match. He's second place for me. But there's only one person that can get man of the match last night. Made 10 saves in the match. And look, I have been a big critic of him. And, but we've got to see a lot more of this if he wants to stay in the team. But yes, man of the match, without a shadow of a doubt last night, is that man there, and that is Martin Dubravka, who is man of the match. So, as I say, third place Botman, second place Isak, but man of the match is Martin Dubravka all day long.
I would disagree on one of those. I'd have Anthony Gordon in at third instead of Botman. I thought Botman was okay, but I thought some of Gordon's pace, he's skinned Alexander Arnold a number of times, especially when he's playing on the left. And a beautiful ball in for Isak, who was a great finish. So I'd have him at third, Isak at second, and as you said, Dubravka was the standout.
Mm-hmm. Martin said, offer's always open, Tony and Roly. If you ever want me to come on and explain it all, great show, lads. And best of luck at the weekend. Yeah, cheers. Yeah, I'll get you on, Martin. Absolutely, mate. We'll sort that out. Unfortunately, no Belgian football till the 16th of January. Roly will have to be patient. What a place, what a country. Absolutely. Rumours going around Nottingham Forest could face a points deduction if it's deemed the club have breached the Premier League's financial fair play rules via the Athletic. Yeah, Everton could be on for another one as well, couldn't they? So
Foxy, so it'll be May. There's going to be. I'm going to donate a prize for a prize draw in April. So we'll do a prize draw. It's not April, May, and
Ian
I
says,
think we'll be pleased with the prize that's on offer.
Ian's top three is Dubs, Botman, and Maley. Lee says, great show tonight, Tony and Roly, and all brilliant show. Thank you very much. City will not get any charge. Okay. Yes, so it's been a great show tonight, and as usual, as I say, if you haven't yet smashed that like, then please do smash that like. It does help the channel, so please do give it a like. That'll be great. If you're also brand new to the channel, come and smash the subscribe. Come and be part of this great community we have here. We are closing in on 1,100 subscribers. We're only 9 away from that target now. And also hitting that bell tells you when I'm live, have a pre-record or any upcoming shows as well. Dubravka had a belter, absolutely, Ronald. Great show, Tony and Roly. Cheers, Ian. Thanks very much, mate. But look, we've got the Mackhams on Saturday. I'm going to see if I can try and get a Mackham fan on for the show and see if we can do a preview with a Mackham fan. So I will try. Whether a Mackham fan will come on, I do not know. But that would be quite interesting, I think, if we got somebody on. But remember, the future's bright. The future is definitely black and white. It's bye-bye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
How are you, the lads?